All right, everybody, just watch the game wrap up over here to my right. Huskies take the very odd win. It was a weird game, and I know that sounds a little bit strange to say because we were so dominant throughout most of it. We literally put up 59 points. We played the entire fourth quarter and then some with backups. But the game flow got a little bit funky very early on because we had the pick six and then we had the punt return touchdown. So a lot of kind of interesting wrinkles to this game where the defense was basically constantly out there for the first 20 minutes of the game, it felt like. And the weather, I think, also made things a little bit interesting. I think the weather also messed things up just a little bit compared to what Penix is used to, which I think led to him missing a couple throws. He made his first really bad throw of the season on the interception, just a terrible, terrible decision and throw. Obviously, trying to force something on third down when he probably should have just run with it and tried to pick up the first. So, not his best game. Still a solid game. Still made a lot of good plays. Still did a lot of positive things. I think the main thing offensively, because obviously we're mainly talking about the offense here, the main thing that I think we can take away from this game in the positive is that our run game has come along significantly. We can run the ball well now. We found something with Dylan Johnson, found something with Nixon. The interior of the offensive line looks like they're playing better. And that makes me feel like there's an opportunity here to advance the offense even beyond what we've seen through the first few games. Because early in this season, it looked like we weren't going to be able to run the ball under any circumstance because we couldn't run the ball against the bad teams we scheduled to start the year. But now we're starting to build up a little bit of momentum against some teams that are still not that good, but there's at least some reason to believe that it's possible that we could run the ball in a big moment, in a moment where it actually matters, actually balance our attack a little bit. Because we are eventually going to play some really good teams, not necessarily some really good defenses, but every little bit is going to potentially help against some of these better teams. So that was the main thing that I liked from the offense tonight, more than anything Penix did, even though Penix played well. The offensive line looked really good. The receivers, without McMillan, they were great. Rome Odunze was awesome. Polk was awesome. And that was encouraging to see because I was a little bit concerned when McMillan couldn't go. But yeah, to me, the main thing I'm going to take away from this game is what we did running the football. So that's basically the offense. We scored 60 points, but we had a pick six and we had the special teams touchdown. So the offense wasn't credited for all of that necessarily, but they certainly did a lot of the heavy lifting here. Now, defensively is where this game gets kind of difficult to figure out. It's kind of difficult to say exactly how to feel. 32 points and almost 500 yards allowed, but the problem is so much of that was in garbage time. We gave up 3 garbage time touchdowns in this game. I think the game's just completely over. We've got our backups in for most of that time, and they march down and score 3 touchdowns, which makes it look not as impressive as it was. This is a little like last week's game. I think we could have probably won this game by 50 points if we really wanted to, but we took our starters out. We started playing super soft zone defense, just kind of letting Cal slowly march down the field if they wanted it. They took it. Now, the defense did have some lapses earlier in the game too when Cal actually had their starters in, and so did we. So I'm not saying everything was great. I will say this. Cal had some very impressive plays made by receivers in this game. Um, I do think that there were some really nice fade routes run by Cal where their receivers just made incredibly good catches. I can't get that mad at the secondary for those plays. I can't get really that upset about anything that the defense was doing there. But we were getting beat on some of those shallow crossers. We were getting beat over the middle. And for as much pressure as we got on Cal quarterbacks throughout this game, I don't think we got a sack. So I don't know what's going on there, but the QB pressure is not what I thought. I thought that was going to be the strength of the defense this year, and really it kind of hasn't been. ZTF and Price have been, I don't want to say bad, but I haven't noticed them as much as I was thinking. I thought that was going to be one of the most deadly edge rush combos in the country, and they've been mostly quiet. And these are not even elite quarterbacks they're playing. They're going to play much better quarterbacks, much better offenses, much better offensive lines down the line. So I am kind of wondering about that a little bit. So I I'm a little confused about how to think of this defense right now. They forced several turnovers in this game. They had 3 interceptions. They took one back. One was huge because the momentum of the game was flipping. Penix had just thrown the worst pick of the season, one of the worst throws he's ever made since he got to UW. And then immediately we just take the ball right back, and suddenly it's basically a re-rack. So I don't know. I'm a little confused on how to feel about this defense. The run defense looks better, the secondary looks better, but we're going to have to wait and see what happens when we play a better team. I have some concerns. I think the pass rush is not what I was thinking it was going to be. I thought our edge rusher situation was going to be great. It's just kind of been okay so far. So I, I can take some stuff from this game. Don't get me wrong. I'm not hung up on allowing 32 points. That doesn't mean anything. Most of those points were allowed in garbage time, but at the same time, I can also say a lot of those turnovers were because the Cal quarterback is just miserable. The Cal quarterback, I don't know what that guy's doing. I don't know what he's doing on a couple of those plays. The first interception is as bad a throw as you're ever going to see. So some good, some bad, mostly good. I think you can safely say when you're putting up almost 60 points on a not a good team, but a Pac-12 team, you probably did something pretty good, and you can feel pretty good about yourself going into the week. So, Penix didn't exactly get to stat pad in this game for the Heisman because of the game flow. That was one of the weird things. We're used to Penix throwing for 400 yards. He didn't even throw for 300 because we were up 14-0 before he got to touch the ball. So that made things a little bit weird. I um I don't know. Some of the plays that Cal was able to make on their offense made the game feel weird. Like there were some plays where they were running practically like the Tim Tebow play, where the quarterback acts like he's going to just take off with it and then he pops up and throws it. It was honestly some pretty impressive stuff over there. And it made this whole game just kind of feel a little bit funky. The rain made the game feel a little bit funky. And it's not like this was a close game at all. This game was over at halftime. This game was over very early in the third quarter. So I guess that's really all I can say. I want to see how I feel about this team after they play some of the really good teams. Like we're going to play Oregon in a few weeks here. So I'm very interested to see how the defense responds to a team like that. Because I've seen many conflicting things from this defense through the first several games here. So I guess we're just going to have to wait for that. But it was a great stream tonight, by the way. A lot of people came out. We had a lot of fun. Uh, Team ultimately did put on a show. It wasn't all great. It wasn't a perfect game, but it was a great game. So I'm going to see you guys later. Bow down to Washington. Still undefeated. Still got a chance to make this the special season on the way out of the Pac-12. And yeah. I mean, there's really not much to be upset about or criticize. We're just going to have to find out how much of this is meaningful when we play Oregon in a little bit here.